What makes your startup different is the key to raising money. Explaining how your startup is different from your competitors might be the most difficult slide to develop. If you get the slide right, you are well on your way to getting funded. If you get this wrong, then your fundraising efforts are a lot more difficult. I want you to get this right. That's why in today's video, I'll share with you my foolproof process for creating a killer how it works slide. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. I'm going to start with the 5 most likely problems you're likely having with your existing How It Works slide. And let's start with number 1 on our list. Number 1, you tell us how it works. I know, but isn't the point of a How It Works slide showing how your product or service works? Well, not exactly. The problem is we inevitably tell the wrong story because we're taking the question of how it works too literally. And we end up showing a crazy diagram like this. Can you follow this? This shows exactly how this cloud architecture product works. However, no one except the founders that are so excited by their product can follow this. I mean, look at all these squiggly lines that you have to follow. I see this mistake all the time. That's the first trap you're likely to fall into. The second problem you're likely to have is number 2 on our list. Number 2, you copied Airbnb. I love the Airbnb pitch deck you can find online. It's great. One of the key slides in their deck is how simply they show how their product works, as you can see here. Search, review, and book. It worked for Airbnb, and that's why I see this format copied all the time, but not so fast. Before you copy someone's slides, you have to understand the context of the slide. In Airbnb's case, the way their product worked was radically different than their competition. Here's the thing. Each slide in your deck has to move your story forward, or it moves your story backwards. If your 3-step process doesn't clearly explain your differentiation, then you're definitely on the wrong track. Let's move to the next likely problem you'll have, which is number 3 on our list. Number 3, you went too deep technically. And you know what happens when you go too deep technically? You lose your audience. I fell into this trap with our original pitch deck, as you can see here. This is so embarrassing for me to show you. It's so bad. And looking at this now, I wonder what on earth were we thinking? But I know exactly what we were thinking. We wanted to show investors how smart we were. The problem with this thought process is showing people how smart you are doesn't move the story along. Let's take a look again at what we showed investors. It's way too deep technically. It's not going to convince investors that we had the solution to anything. Now, let's move to the 4th mistake you're likely to make, which is number 4 on our list. Number 4, you created a sales pitch. I see this one all the time. And yes, I fully acknowledge that raising money is sales. However, if your How It Works slides is feature after feature after feature, you're going in the wrong direction. The reason is that investors do not care about features because, quite frankly, features are boring. The features may be great, but they're unlikely to move the story along. Next, let's go to the 5th most likely mistake you'll make. Number 5 on our list. Number 5, you have a patent. Or maybe you've applied for a patent. I might see this mistake more than any other mistake I see CEOs make. You have a patent on something, and you think it's the key to show how protected your product or service is. The problem is your patent is not likely that compelling to investors. Patents usually take years and lots of money to successfully litigate. Most startups don't have the time or money. I am not saying you shouldn't have a strong patent strategy. I am saying it's not the way to explain your differentiation to investors. Okay, we've gone through the 5 most likely mistakes I see for explaining how your product works. So, what does work? Here's the solution. Don't tell investors how it works. Instead, tell investors what your secret sauce is. Investors want to know what separates your company from all the companies you are competing with. Now, let me walk you through my 3-step process for how you should explain your secret sauce to investors. And let's start with number 1. Number 1, what are your key innovations? Maybe it could be your technology. For example, we had created an innovative way to reduce the power consumption by 10x while keeping the performance the same or better. Or it could be your brand, like it is for Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has created a brand equity over the last 100 years that brings it significant value. It could be your customer service. For example, Zappos was able to build a huge company on the basis of a differentiated customer service model. Now, let's move to the second thing that you need to prove to investors. Number 2, why is it important? And by important, you need to tie importance back to the pain your customers are in. That's the test. Let's go through the 3 examples in part 1 and see if they pass this test. In our case, we were focused on selling customers making battery-operated products. Now, new technology that reduces power consumption by at least 10x and keeps performance the same or better would definitely pass that test. Coca-Cola's brand equity equates to something customers trust, so it passes the test. Finally, Zappos' improved, personalized customer service was loved by its customers, so it passes the test too. Now let's move to the 3rd step in our process. Number 3, why is it difficult to replicate? Investors are obsessed with the companies they invest in having a sustainable competitive advantage. In other words, what is the moat that you're building around your company? Let's go through the test again with our 3 examples. In our case, there were not too many engineers with the skills to develop our technology. We had been able to successfully recruit a full team before raising funding. In Coca-Cola's case, it's pretty difficult to compete with 100 years of excellence. The Zappos case seems like a competitor should be able to replicate what they did. However, it's not so easy to replicate Zappos' unique culture that led directly to their unique customer support effort. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. It's difficult for competitors to change course. I always believed that my competitors have the ability to do anything we could do. My answer acknowledged our competitors' skill, while at the same time explaining the significant challenges investors would have competing with us. My answer was this: yes, companies like Analog Devices, Maxim, or Linear Technology could theoretically do what we're doing, but it would require their top engineering talent and take them years to catch up. More importantly, they'd need to pull those engineers off of core revenue-generating projects. This would be painful, politically difficult, and strategically risky. We're not just ahead technically, we're ahead organizationally. We've built our company around solving this one problem. They haven't. That's our moat. The reason this worked well with investors is it explains all the challenges beyond the obvious one about the technology of our competitors. So think beyond the obvious to see what you can do to add more layers to your moat. Now, I have 3 more things for you today. First, if you want to work with me on your startup, then just scan this QR code. Second, you can use my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Scan the QR code to get yours for free. And third, join my free group of startup CEOs, Zero to Pitch. It's a community for startup CEOs focused on growing their companies and raising funding for their companies. Scan the QR code to join. Finally, click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.